Unfortunate. If you wanna
Okay, we're
do
good.
the okay, let's go ahead and keep going. Thank you guys.
Okay. So yeah, we took a step back and we looked at the design of these daily ROI dApps that have either thrived or sustained themselves during these slow times in the DeFi space, or also the ones that have collapsed or have suffered and gone away. Most of them may still be there in some form or another, but we've had, even within the last couple of weeks, some that have just told their communities that they weren't going to continue. So we looked at those different mechanics and really what the issues and opportunities were to redesign something that had the sustainability features. And when we talk about sustainability, it's usually two different pieces. One is, will the contract survive in terms of the mechanics involved? Will it continue to pay out the daily ROI, and will that continue for some period of time with the right incentives for people to continue to bring new capital, fresh capital? Are they doing things to build new utilities for the tokens? Are they doing things to bring new innovations in that excite the investor community and give them a longer runway? And then the other side to that is the price. And what we've seen is the coins that really pump hard in the beginning and then dump really hard, they end up with a really big community issue in that the people that got in later end up feeling like they missed out, or that they've obviously lost lost a considerable amount relative to people that were getting in at the lower price. So there's this sentiment issue. There's the community is upset. They don't like these extreme swings. We've seen some projects that have lost over 90% of their value of the token. And so, yeah, you can compound your way out of that, but everybody then ends up just trying to, kind of withdraw out of the protocol as much as they possibly can. And it's hard to get new investors excited about it when the chart is in the red for 4, 5, 6 months. You don't really want to tell your friends, your neighbors, or anybody about that project because you're concerned that the price might go down even more, or there might not be enough liquidity for people to be able to pull out their investment. So there's two real pieces to that sustainability, and one is how the market reacts to your price, and then also are the mechanics there to encourage new investors to come in at any time during the project. And so we took a lot of those lessons learned from those projects that had those issues, and we've incorporated mechanics in around a lot of those. The downside to doing that is it makes it a little bit more complex. So if you look at a system like Drip, very simple. But then if you look at the price chart of Drip, it's very volatile. So you need to balance both of those, where you still have some price appreciation opportunity, but you don't have chart that scares away people from getting in at any time. The other piece of that is that we want to align the incentives of people that were out referring and recruiting new investors into the project, because that really becomes the lifeblood of that sustainability. If you don't have liquidity coming in, you don't have fresh capital coming in, it's just like anything else, whether it's a stock or a currency or whatever it is, eventually that liquidity will dry up, or the price will get to a point where it looks unattractive and people are concerned about the chart. So we took all of those kind of ideas and things that we looked at other protocols. We came up with some new, what I would consider to be incremental innovations to our protocol, and the way that we look at certain measures that are familiar with other people in other daily ROI dApps. So some of the terminology that we use might be similar, but a lot of the nuances and how we calculate things and then how we incentivize people will be different. So there's some learning to do, even if you're coming from another project. You might see some familiar things, but then there might be some things that you might want to take a closer look at because the game theory is a little different. So yeah, that's kind of the overall picture. A couple of the differentiators. I think the one thing that makes our approach to sustainability much different, is that we don't encourage people to hyper compound. A lot of the other projects have this kind of mantra, community, tribalism, that compounding is good, and claiming and selling is evil, and all of these kind of things, and everyone wants to just compound till max payout. Well, what happens when you do that is not only are you providing liquidity for the people that got in before you, if you're not withdrawing at all, you're also just kicking the can down the road. And what happens is, as these wallets grow in size, you then have a lot of wallets that mature at the same time, and they need to claim, withdraw, sell all about the same time. Well, that impacts the price chart. It impacts the liquidity. It really stresses the system. The tax vault has a harder time paying out when you have more people all withdrawing at once. So to smooth that out, we've put the mechanics in place where we encourage people to withdraw early, withdraw often, sell often, and not hyper compound all the way to max payout, where you're going to have the largest number of tokens being put back out on the market. So that's probably one of the biggest kind of mindset shifts. And a lot of that philosophy came from Kelly Snook, who's a pretty well-known dripper, and she's built a lot of calculators, and she really understands the sustainability mechanics. She's one of our advisors. And so we took that idea to heart, and we built that into the system. The other piece is that we looked at how other systems calculate, or I would say incentivize, their reward and referral systems. And we changed that a little to where we made the daily ROI percentage variable and higher if you were able to deposit more or bring in more referral rewards. And so you'll maintain a 2% daily ROI if you have either put in more deposits or you're consistently bringing in new referrals into the system. Other systems like Drip, they turn off your rewards if your NDV, they call it, or your net deposit value. That's the calculation that looks at how much you've deposited versus how much you've taken out or claimed. They turn off your referral rewards if that goes negative, as kind of a punishment. Well, what we're doing is we're using the variable daily ROI as an incentive to maintain that NDV being positive. And the way that you keep that NDV positive is by bringing in more referrals or adding more capital to the system. And that will dramatically help the sustainability, because that's where, fresh investments coming in supports liquidity, and then it supports the people that are exiting and won't cause such a supply shock or a price shock to the chart. So yeah, those are the two kind of biggest, I would say, mechanics that we've taken and made our own. We've enhanced them. We've made them what I would consider to be more sustainable than when we look at other protocols. And yeah, we'll see how this turns out. But as far as the calculations and things go, we feel good about the amount of tokens that people are going to be withdrawing earlier, and the way that it impacts the price chart and the way that it impacts liquidity. So, did you have anything?
Well, I think that was a good intro and explanation. I did want to see if we could get you to touch a bit on the NFTs, how those NFTs are kind of innovative and a bit different, tie into the whole system, because they do definitely have a great benefit. I've had a couple of people DM me, but yeah, if you could explain a bit of that, Brett, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. So what we did was, you could see other protocols are catching on to the idea of having an NFT as sort of a capital investment that then earns some type of reward. But what we wanted to do is really expand the utility of those. So the legacy NFTs are a way to not only gain access to referral rewards and multiple levels of referral rewards, but also have several different ways you can accelerate your ROI in the ARK Vault, which is the daily ROI DApp. So by holding the NFT, you'll be able to compound more often, which will obviously build your principal balance, we're calling it, but it's basically your deposited amount higher, so that then your max payout can grow to a higher level. But then you also won't have to withdraw as often as other people that don't have the NFT. So it won't impact your 2% daily as soon as other people. So when your NDV goes negative, which I know I'm throwing out a bunch of terms here that people might not be familiar with, but when your net deposit value goes negative, you will drop from 2% down to 1% daily. And that's to protect the system, and so that the payout is slower. But people that either hold the NFT or bring in more referral rewards will keep that NDV positive for a longer period of time. So they'll sustain their 2% earnings even longer. So if you are a syndicate founder and you're able to purchase an NFT, then you would be able to get the benefits of being able to compound longer, be able to withdraw less often, which will have a positive effect on your NDV, and you'll be able to maintain your 2% longer. If you're just an investor that doesn't necessarily want to bring in referrals, you can still get the NFT and still get all the same benefits. If you don't bring in the referrals, then eventually you will drop to 1%, but it will be much longer if you are holding the NFT. But that's not the only benefit of the NFTs. That's kind of the way that it impacts your daily ROI and the ARK Vault. They also allow you to become part of what we call like the ownership of the ArkFi ecosystem. And so there are fees that trickle into a rewards pool that are then paid out to the NFT holders. And when we ran some calculations, some rough calculations, we estimate that the NFT rewards would give you an ROI on the cost of that NFT based on the pool size and the amount of fees that we would estimate coming into the pool would be about a year or so. So not only are you getting the increased utility by holding the NFT, but then you're also getting rewards back. And I also want to mention that there's no idle money in our system at all. So if you are an NFT investor, you will get rewards and you will get an income stream by holding an NFT. When you deposit money into the ARK Vault, that's the daily ROI DApp, you'll get the 2%, up to 2% per day as a rewards payout. And then also we have the foundation, which if you're familiar with, say, the Drip Reservoir, or on Furio, they have the Fur Pool. These are staking protocols that allow you to participate in the liquidity of the protocol. And we have a liquidity pool there, so you can stake or deposit your USDC or your ARK, and we create an LP token. And by doing that, you not only are going to get rewards back, but you also can qualify for referral rewards levels, which is a little bit innovative because it gives an increased utility to that staking pool. Whereas in some of the other protocols, you either hold a secondary token, like in Drip, it's BREAP. In Piston, it's their native token. But basically, you buy that token, they kind of hold it for you, and you don't get any additional utility from holding that. You don't get a reward. You might get some price appreciation, but basically, they'll give you your money back at the end just for holding it. But it's also subject to impermanent loss. Anyway, so there's no idle money. So if you do participate in the foundation, you not only get access to the referral rewards as a utility, but you also will get you will get rewards for staking in that pool. That pool is, a medium return pool. It's not going to be as lucrative as holding an NFT, for example, and the utility is not as high, but it's a way that you'll still earn something back for depositing money into the system.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Brett. And look, I want to thank everyone that's here. We see some more participants. Mr. SK Crypto K, I don't know if you could speak. You might be busy over there at the office, but shout out. Thank you for being here, sir. And thank you for all your support, really from day one, advising the team here and just helping us to be able to work together and really understand how we can bring some benefit. These are tough times. We all understand that we don't know when the bear market is going to really complete its cycle. With that said, doesn't mean that we can't be earning. We just have to be careful. We have to make sure to step away and keep clear from any volatility and go for that sustainable price action. That's where LMS controls will come into play. We are also going to be doing some investments into other protocols and projects that I think you guys will be very, very excited about, that we'll touch on a little bit later. But we wanted this first conversation to really be technical, to really go in deep dive into what's under the hood in the contracts here and what are we doing different. Most of you guys already know a lot of the other protocols and you want to understand what ARK is about. So I think it'd be great to open the floor up to questions from you guys, the potential investors, those that have been here with us for a long time, and the new folks that are hearing about us that I'm sure have some great questions. You've taken a look, hopefully, at the white paper, and we know a couple of folks that wrote some stuff down and they're going to come and ask us. So we'll just kind of go. We have the voice chat open, and we're going to leave it open here and see who wants to come and ask the first technical question.
Hey, Atlas and Brett.
I think a good place is. Go ahead.
You guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Okay, just a question on the Kronos network. I have been on it for a bit of time, just because it's been a bit of a mess. But for the small investors, how are you guys overcoming the issue of the gas fee on Kronos with daily ROI gap?
Well, we've been running a miner off of there for I think now probably over 5 months. It was doing quite fantastic for those of you guys that didn't know about it. We reached over 1.2 million Crow. It launched at 53 cents, and things were going fantastic until, unfortunately, if you guys recall, Crypto.com, they from the morning to the night just decided that they were going to take away the staking rewards for their cardholders. And a lot of the investors were not happy with that. They felt the rug was definitely pulled from under them, and they started selling off really quickly. And it was the first cryptocurrency that really took a deep dive, the first shoe that fell off. And unfortunate, I think about 7 to 10 days later, the rest of the market followed suit with other variable factors that we're still seeing and experiencing today. And we haven't also seen, I think, a recovery as good as the other cryptocurrencies. When it comes to Crypto.com, they did backtrack and backpedal, and they said, hey, okay, we're not going to take the staking rewards away fully, but we're going to lower them from where they were previously. We've had a bit of issues a few times with the RPC nodes over at Crypto.com and the Kronos network. Besides that, it's been very smooth, and I have not seen, and we're not seeing any issues as far as gas. However, with that said, I do want to put this out there that in talks with a lot of our advisors and looking really at the market and the situation, there is a chance that we will make a decision shortly about the possibility of actually launching on BSC for several factors, but gas is not really a factor. Maybe you want to expand a bit on what do you mean by the gas? Because being on the network, working on there for months, we haven't had any issue.
It's just a very simple question. Earlier, when I had used the Kronos network relative to BSC or say Phantom, it was a significant higher amount. So
okay,
but as you said, there's not recently, but as you said, since I've used it for a number of months, and if that's working, then that's fine.
Yeah,
but if I can ask another question, I don't want to take all the time I'm driving, so I just want to ask my questions and then let the floor to the rest of the members here. But in terms of the referral rewards, or if you hold an NFT, you have a certain benefit, and if you provide to the liquidity pool, you have a certain benefit. Are those cumulative? Meaning, if I buy an NFT and then I provide liquidity to the pools, will that may increase my daily percentage return?
No, not explicitly. What it would allow you to do by holding the NFT or staking into the liquidity pool is it will allow you to earn referral rewards, which then has a positive impact on your net deposit value, which is the determining factor of maintaining the 2% daily.
But it won't be cumulative. In terms of the positive benefit to the net deposit value.
No, it doesn't. When you purchase an NFT or if you stake in the liquidity pool, it does not directly affect your vault balances at all. Those are separate contracts.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Great questions. You have a safe drive there, man. And let's keep it open. I believe we have a lot more questions coming. So, guys, please feel free to.
You're right at this, mate.
How you doing, Natty?
All good, man. All good, man. I'm just working. I wanted to get in quickly while I've got the time. Sorry to quickly there. I just wanted to give an example of someone a bit like myself, but not exactly, but just an example of someone that's got a little bit of money. He's putting it in as an investor. He's not looking to really have another job, as in referring people, going out looking or trying to put extra money in. We're talking about an example of someone that just wants to invest some money and hopefully gain some more money than on their returns, just a standard investor, basically. When you were talking about the 2%, the man there before yourself, he was talking about the 2% and it drops to 1%, or if you buy an NFT and things like this. What if you're just someone that wants to put your money in and leave it there and do your compounding, as I kind of imagined? But obviously this is all good stuff. I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to understand, as someone that doesn't really do a crypto a lot and just wants to invest his money to get something back. Does it decrease the value? Is when he's saying about 1%, does that mean that so basically you have to keep working to make your money back, or is it? It's not as simple as the miner at the moment, is it? So can you just give me a brief how that works for someone that's more basic?
Sure. Yeah. So it doesn't. So if you just want to have a wallet where you make a deposit and you allow the system to give you the 2% daily rewards, it will, if you're following, let's say, a 1-to-1 compound withdrawal strategy. So one day you're compounding and one day you're withdrawing. You'll have about 71 days of 2%, which will pretty close to double your initial deposit in your principal balance. So it will accelerate your principal balance considerably to get to a much higher level, so that when it does drop down to the 1%, because you aren't either depositing more or bringing in more referrals, your daily rewards at the 1% level will be considerably higher in a very short period of time. So it still will accelerate your ROI relative to other 1% daily ROIs that have a fixed percentage. But one thing you could do is you could deposit more. So if you had a DCA strategy where you wanted to deposit more over time, but let's say you didn't have a large capital investment up front, you can deposit up to a net deposit up to 4,000 tokens. And then that will get you almost to about 10,000 if you're following a 1-to-1 or a little bit more aggressive compounding schedule. That's with no NFT, nothing else, just doing, a typical compound withdrawal. It'll get you to around 10,000 tokens. And at that point, you would still be getting about 100 tokens per day, even at the 1%, which with our liquidity controller and things and what we intend to do to keep the price appreciation is still going to be a very significant passive income.
Right. No, that's a great answer. I appreciate that, mate. So basically, if you do the basics, you're still going to earn your money back and more, but it'll just be at a slower rate after 71 days. And And if you deposit more, that's the chance of basically doing less work. Just deposit more as you can. Because, for example, on the last time I invested the money. I got a few people in, but I still didn't do as well. But this time, because I didn't make it all back, I just want to invest and kind of do the basics until I get my money back, and then maybe I could start. So I just wanted to know how it would work. Yeah. Thanks for that, mate. You answered that perfect. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, that's a really good strategy. And we've set this up so that even if you make the small investment, it can grow into a very big one, obviously. But then you can add as you go. And once you feel more comfortable and you wanted to start referring people in, that option's always available. You could take some of your profits. You can buy the NFT, once your account matures a little bit. So we've kind of made it an opportunity to step into the investment, or to be able to step into a comfort level where you feel good about referring other people. Because we understand not everyone's at the same level. Some people don't have big teams. Some people don't have social media presence or a way to connect.
Some people are loners like me, mate. We just like being more alone with the people we like. But so for example, if I got 2 people, would that be worth my while, or do I have to keep getting people to keep investing? Do you see what I mean? Would it be? Do I have to keep going? So even if I got 2 people that invested, would that help me enough, or would I have to keep going and keep going?
Sure. Yeah, I think even with a couple people, and you would have to obviously get at least one level of referral rewards, which would give you another investment stream or another income stream coming in from that investment, whether that's an NFT or in the foundation of the liquidity pool.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I don't want to take up too much time. That's perfect, Atlas. Thank you for that, mate. Appreciate it. Cheers, mate.
You're fine, Maddie. Yep. And I think we were able to answer that clearly. Thank you, Brett. Not everyone is a social person. Not everyone has the time or the resources. And some people are just more confident in speaking with others. That's one of the reasons, guys, you'll see, and the folks who have been here with us since the beginning, that we did, I believe, 67 podcasts in a row in 69 dates. We make sure that, we're here every single evening when the project is up and running, because we need to educate the community. We have to make sure to answer all these questions, especially if you are going to bring somebody in and you are not an expert. You're still learning how to manage your investment. You're still hanging out with us and asking questions every day, which we want you to do. That's going to enable you later to explain it to someone. But
that is me, mate. That is me. You just said me there. That's me. Yeah.
Great. But it's not a commitment. It is not a requirement. You are going to see that we do motivate people. We've got Brad Ass in here. This kid, in a week, he's over in the UK. I believe you're in the UK as well by your accent, Natty. In the first week, I think he signed up 27 people, knocking door to door, and none of those folks had ever even bought a single cryptocurrency in their life. So there are some people that turned this into.
I'm one of them people, my friend. I'm one of them people, and he basically done that to me. And then what I did is I copied him and done the same thing, mate. He's a good man. He done very well there. He helped me, and like I said, I didn't even do that well in this one, and I'm still here and I'm still putting more. So I like the community, mate. Thank you. I appreciate it. Cheers, buddy.
Daddy. Thank you, Daddy. Yeah. So you can sit back. Great question. Let's move on to the next person. Welcome on board the ARK. How can we help you tonight?
Hey, so following off of what Natty said, so does this thing ever go to zero if he were to if a person were in that situation and they didn't refer anybody, or, does it somehow go to zero, or do you bottom out at 1%?
You would bottom out at 1% as long as you're following the schedule that we put forth with the claim and withdraw schedule, which is pretty detailed, but it goes in the white paper. There's a table in there that talks about what we recommend for following for compounding and withdrawing. And there are some limits on how much you can claim. So we don't want anybody to claim too much, and we don't want anybody to compound too much. And so there's kind of a field goal post that we put up, or guidelines, so that we can keep the system sustainable, but you also can earn a passive income. But the most you would drop down to in that case would be 1%.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people. Just so you know, there's going to be people with following a multi-wallet strategy So they may have a wallet that they send all the referrals to, and that, that wallet's going to reach max payout faster. But they have other wallets that are underneath that won't, that are following a one-to-one strategy, or maybe a little different than that. They're not holding an NFT in that wallet, and that's fine. It's one of the strategies that we talk about in our best practices document. Kelly Snook did a fantastic outline of some of the best practices over her years of experience being in DeFi, and also daily ROI dApps. And if you go on the white paper, it's the very last tab on the left-hand side, the last link. It's called Best Practices. And it really frames up the right type of mindset to have, talks about compounding and withdrawing strategies, and then how to set up a multi-wallet strategy based on your financial situation and what you want to see as a return out of the ARK system.
Yeah, I did read that. Are we going to get to the block URL and all that information this evening? Like what we need to type in to kind of get ready for Saturday, or for whatever, the Friday or Saturday,
No.
the 4th.
That information will be released as we get closer to Friday.
Okay.
Thanks, Rooster.
Yep.
Good to see you, buddy. Great to have you back.
You too.
Thank you so much. Great question. Let's move on to the next question.
What are the NFTs?
Brett, you want to go ahead and answer any questions on the NFTs?
What was the question about?
What are the NFTs? Any clues or?
Yeah, so our NFT is called the Legacy NFT, or are you talking about the pre-sale NFT?
Both. Just what are they? Like what is it? What image is it, or is it not that? Is it? Sorry.
Oh no, it's a utility NFT. So
Sorry,
for the pre, yeah,
sorry.
What the pre-sale NFT is basically like a placeholder for your ARK tokens that you would receive upon launch. So when we launch, you would claim your NFT in exchange for those ARK tokens, and 100% of the pre-sale tokens will be deposited automatically into your ARK Vault account, which the ARK Vault is the daily ROI dApp. So you won't have to do anything but just claim your NFT, and then your ARK tokens will automatically show up in your ARK Vault account. So there won't be any tokens in the wild at launch. So everything that the team receives, everything that's purchased during the pre-sale will all be deposited. There won't be any tokens that can be dumped on the market.
Sorry. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, and that's a great subject that you touched on, Brett. One of the greatest things I think that we have here in the project, I personally do not like investing into projects that have large or even medium private sales and pre-sales and whitelists, because generally those folks, I think you've been around enough, guys, to see that after the project launches, they just generally dump on you, whether they're the team advisors or those folks that are the 0.5% that are friends with the dev team, or have in a way maybe done a favor for them, AMAs or marketing. There's so many ways that projects can really distribute a lot of tokens or just raise a lot of funds, and then they don't have the buy demand, they don't have that buy pressure there. That's always worrying. But even more than that, like I said, it's the fear that they're just going to use those investors that come in at launch as really exit liquidity. With that said, it was very important to us, really two things. The first thing was that anyone that didn't get a return on their investment into the Eternity Miner project of ours, they had an opportunity to join that small club of people that were in the private sale. So they have all been invited with a minimum contribution of $250 and a maximum contribution of $1,000. We do not believe to leave any investor behind. Before we could even move forward to this phase, we had to make sure that we did the right thing. If you didn't get your return on investment, you are welcomed. You are being appreciated. You get to go in at a price that everyone else is going to have to pretty much buy, higher through the pre-sale or buy at launch. Now, with that said, the second part is that it's so important as well, because those folks that are getting to the private sale are not going to be able to dump on you. All of the tokens are going to be claimed at launch directly to the ROI DApp. We all have to play the same game. Hence, we're all on the same ship, the ARK. There is no one here, not a team member, advisor, any private sale, any syndicate founder, anyone that's receiving before launch tokens, purchasing them or receiving them for their services, not able to dump on any of you or any of us. We're all going to be able to sleep at night very comfortably, knowing that we're all playing the game. If somebody wants to come at launch and they want to purchase tokens, they're going to face a very steep tax. You're going to be able to find it here in the white paper. Brett can go into more details if you have questions about it, unless they come into the ROI DApp. The whole point of everything that we're doing here, guys, is to make sure that we have a stable price, we have a stable project that we're going to be able to grow, and we're not going to see any abuse of any other investor, someone that is sitting there and they're hyper claiming and draining liquidity from all of us, the other investors. They're going to be brought down. They're not going to be getting that 2%. Anyone that's hyper compounding, that's trying to get ahead so they can, get to the max payout quicker and to just dump on the rest of us. That's all been thought of. It's all been balanced, but we're very, confident. We're very secure in that the way that our private and pre-sale is being put together, it gives a whole blanket of security for every single investor here, that you, with a guarantee, know that every single token is locked up into the ROI DApp. We'll move on to the next questions, guys.
So when we buy into the pre-sale, the private sale, is that what we're buying, is the ARK token?
What you're going to buy is a NFT that really, Rooster, is a placeholder. You're going to receive that NFT, and if you're into private, you're going to be able to, at the time of contribution, that your wallet's whitelisted to go ahead and buy into the private, right? You're going to be able to choose between $250 to $1,000. Some people, they got on the list. They said, hey, I'm going to put 500, but maybe they've made some money in another project, or they were able to make some money in the real world in a business, or something went really well for them. And some other folks, perhaps they wanted to contribute 1,000, but they've had to pay some things off, and maybe they have 300-400. So we want to make sure that all of those folks can make a decision based on their income and what they're able to invest responsibly. So we've left it open. So they're going to come, they're going to make the contribution, and they're going to receive an NFT. That NFT is a placeholder of your deposit amount until December 2nd, which is the launch date.
Okay.
Another feature that we're going to have, we're having a small, not super fancy, but it's neat. We're having an internal marketplace that, let's say that you got into the private and you want to go ahead and, just put a higher price on your investment. Let's say you invested, 600, you want to sell it for 1,200, 1,500. There might be some whale out there that says, hey, I want to get as much of those private sale tokens that, as possible, or I want some pre-sale, I couldn't get access to it. They might come and buy it off you. So until the launch, those NFTs will be tradable in our internal marketplace, which is kind of pretty neat. I don't think a lot of people will actually be selling, but the option's there. The option's there. It's kind of cool. It's neat to give somebody that option and see what kind of offers come in. So that's the way it's going to be set up. I hope I answered your question.
No, yeah, absolutely. Hey, there was another question asked earlier yesterday. I think someone had asked, and I'm not hearing a lot of questions, so I'm going to ask it. I think they said, what is it worth? What is the token worth? I guess value wise, I guess is what they meant, but you said that would be a question you would answer here. So
yeah, so
just asking it for whoever that was.
Yeah, look, we're having a base price for the private sale now. Since we don't know exactly how much of those investors, are going to come and invest, they've been approved, how much they're going to decide, like I explained to you just a few minutes ago, maybe they said they were going to put between 600 and 800, but they're going to put less, or they want to put up to the max 1,000. They're getting the FOMO. So once we pretty much complete the cycle of the private sale, we're going to see how much contribution came in, and that's going to give us the actual price for the public pre-sale 1, 2, and 3. So that's where we're going to be able to give you the stages of each round according to how much is actually coming in. So that's going to come shortly after really we start and close the private sale, which I think will be pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, one other weird one. I was looking up at crypto today and typed in ARK, ARK, and it shows another crypto coin out, or another coin out there. You know about that one?
Which one? What, the symbol or the actual company? Because there is a layer 1 it's associated with the name ARK, but that's a completely whole level 1.
Okay. Yeah, it must be a different one. I didn't know if it was. I was like, surely this isn't yours, but I know you were trying to do something totally different, and I figured name and everything would be different, but
yeah. And as you find, a lot of the names in crypto, if you look up, a symbol on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, you'll find that a lot of the names there's sometimes 20, 30, 50 different tokens that have the same name. Some slight variations to them. And one of the things about ARK was that there wasn't a ton of them. Actually, I think only like 1 or 2. So we're different in that sense. And you can also see too, and be careful, checking the contract address before contribution once we go live, as well as the logo that you'll see on there. That's another giveaway, although there are some copycats out there that try to do nefarious stuff. One of the reasons too, we're being very careful with the information we're giving out right now.
I get you. That makes sense.
Thank you,
Richard. Is that you're going to be your logo that we have here on the network on this here? Okay.
Yes, sir. The one that you see on the Telegram. There's another one that's gray that you see in the welcome bot. That's not it. That's more here for inside the Telegram. But what you're seeing as the avatar where it says official ARK, black background with the white letters, that's the official one.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Hey, Atlas. I wanted to ask you a quick question about the LMS. Do you plan on having that enabled at launch? I don't know, maybe 2x the launch price, so that you capture all the liquidity that is coming in from the initial pump?
Fantastic question. And that, I believe you could probably understand that the answer. I'm not trying to be too secretive or shady in any way, shape, or form. We do believe transparency is the best and only option. However, with that, we also need to take into account to be really careful to give folks upfront what the top and bottom levels are going to be. And to be quite frank with you as well, we are still working out the variables. A lot of that's going to have to be done when we see how much we raise on the private as well as the public pre-sales. And we won't be able to really fine tune it to an exactitude of this is what the action plan is going to be. I think until that happens and we know where we stand, and that obviously will be before launch. But to be really clear, I don't believe we're going to release the exact levels before we actually implement them. I hope you can understand.
Yeah. No, I'm not necessarily looking for the levels. What I would like to see, I mean, I'm not saying that this is just what I think would be smart, is when a token launches like one of these ROI apps, you get an initial pump that pumps the price up, and there's a lot of traders who buy it and dump it. And I understand how you have it with the you can only sell so much based on your vault balance and the taxes and everything to help
in the high price.
Correct. Right. I get that. But it does, even when you have that in place, there still is that pump and the dump that happens right after it on the launch. I mean, it happened in, I don't want to say it, but the other protocol, but I think what protocol I'm talking about with their NFT. They had the same mechanism, and they did have an initial pump, a dump, and then they went back up, and then they turned on the LMS and cut the price in half. It just looks like it would be smart to have it, be prepared to have it enabled at some point in the launch, like where you can capture that liquidity for the protocol versus traders, pocketing it in for themselves. You might get the most benefit. That's all. I would like to actually say I haven't seen a project launch with the LMS in place at a launch yet, and I'm curious to see how effective that would probably be. Really effective to capture all that liquidity in the initial with the initial flow of all that funds coming into the protocol.
I completely understand where you're coming from and agree. And I would love to ask you if you could send me a DM. I would like to consult with you, and I like your idea. And that's exactly what we're thinking of, and we're trying to put together. And we encourage any other community member that has invested and seen things in the LMS that they think that should be improved, or like the idea you're saying here, how to actually, when to turn it on, and what you believe is the best policy. Listen, guys, we're all a team here. We're all investing together with the same common purpose, right? For sustainability and a good passive income for all of us. So we are absolutely open to ideas and these type of proposals. And like I said, being as transparent with all of you as possible. So anything that can be improved. And another great part about that is that we really have till December 2nd. From tomorrow, it's a month. So we're not in a rush. We've taken a long time to get to where we are now. We're grateful because all this time has given us so much experience, so much understanding of what we've seen and what we believe that small changes, we're not reinventing the wheel, and we don't want to do that. We want to make some improvements that are going to get us closer to that sustainability, and really taking a lot of inspiration from the other projects. You'll never hear us put any project down because, look, this type of technology needs to evolve. And the only way we're going to do that is by creating contracts and creating systems. And there are issues. Not always everything goes as planned. And to be able to pivot, and we've seen some cases with some teams that have had to make changes, but the way they've been able to communicate with the community, and they've been able to really improve things. Look, it's admirable. And we appreciate that. We don't like when we see teams that, and you see them all the time, a lot of shit coins and a lot of other projects where they don't communicate. They really don't care about the community, and they're just out playing for themselves. And I think a lot in this ROI space that, we have a lot of teams to be really proud of, and salute them and applaud them. And a lot of us are going to share the same investors. And I think we need to, be very respectful. And if we make improvements, there's going to be people in the future that I'm sure will come after us, and they'll have also fantastic technology and hopefully some things that we can all grow together, and we can all improve all of our projects for our individual investors. So thank you for that question. And like I said, please send me a DM, because we are, I've talked to a couple people yesterday and today, getting as many really opinions and ideas and seeing how we can tie that all in together, because I do believe that we have really, for a fact, I know the guys that are working here on the code side. We have two fantastic coders. One's just a Solidity expert, really at a genius level. And I think when you guys here in our community see the contract that, this guy can do, I've seen him turn, 1,000 lines of regular code that most, Solidity coders out there would call, average, sufficient and correct Solidity coding, turn into like 86, 76 lines. It's just another level of experience that this young man has really been able to achieve. And that's something that we're all going to be able to take advantage of and rejoice. Sometimes you read some of these contracts and a lot of it doesn't make sense. And one thing you'll see is you're going to be able to read through this, even if you're not a coder or a developer, and make a lot of sense, from it. And we definitely, throughout this month, as we're going through our pre-sales, we'll sit here and we'll go through the code with you guys and explain some of the features. That's one of the inputs we had from investors before. Say, hey, look, there's a lot of things in this project or the other, and we don't understand this, we don't understand this code or what these variables are saying. So we think that's going to be beneficial as well. And we look forward and understand that people will take what we've built, copy it, paste it, and hopefully their heart's in the right place and they want to do the right thing. There's a point where, you know, you have to understand that's just kind of the way that, you know, this industry moves. Doesn't mean that everyone has to do it the same way. We decided to write our code from scratch, and we decided to really take inspiration from a lot of these fantastic projects that did the same thing, that took the time, put the effort into the white paper. And like I said, inspirational. So we'll go on to the next question.
Good night. Hello?
Hello? Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yes. Just one quick question. For the private sale one, is there a minimum? I know that for the first one there is 250 to 1,000. The others, will there be a minimum amount for those?
For the private has that 250 to 1,000, as we wanted to give the investors enough time, as we weren't sure exactly what date we would be starting and when everything would be ready. So we didn't want to put them into a box. We wanted to give them that ample time when the time came to make the financial decision according to their exact current financial situation. So going into the pre-sold, you know, 1, 2, and 3, we're going to have a set price for that, and you'll be able to have, you know, X amount of these NFTs that you're going to be able to buy as placeholders. So we'll be giving you, you know, there's going to be a set price per NFT, and then we have to do that. That way we understand exactly how much we want to raise, and you know, keep everything capped exactly to our plans. Does that answer your question, sir?
But I was kind of looking for more like specific. If the NFT price holder would be a minimum like $100, 50,
we have not finalized. A lot of that, sir, is going to depend on how much we are raising on the side of the private sale. And since that's a variable number that I can't tell you until it's finished, then once it's finished, we will be able to price exactly the tokens and how much we're going to raise for the round 1, 2, and 3. That's why I can't tell you the exact price right now. We have to wait for the private to be done, and then we'll know the price rate level, each level, the price for each NFT, and how many are going to be available to all of you.
Very much.
Thank you. Great question. And sorry to do that.
I had a question. Is this being recorded? Because my dumbass missed the whole damn thing.
It sure is. Don't worry. We got you, buddy. It's being recorded.
Yeah. I've been talking with Jay about it all day. And I was mistaken. I thought we were talking about a different project. So I was waiting for the wrong voice to open, and yeah, a little slow. I'll catch up though. Just coming out of this bear market.
Oh, you're funny, man. But yeah, you can listen to it. But if you have any question, you're on live right now. I don't know if you've had a time to look over our white paper. We just posted it and pinned it again. It is, you know, quite robust. A lot of information. Most of the folks I talk to, they say they've read it like 5 times, and they're still going into it. And that's why I wanted to take this time, guys, to be here. Brett really is the architect, engineer of the system, and has fine-tuned it, and nobody better really to answer all of your technical questions. And quite honestly, guys, you know, for the rest of the team here, our admins, our moderators, it is a time of learning. We have to really, you know, all of us bring our game up, be able to understand the system inside out. Because if we are not able to really convey and answer all the questions to the investors that are going to be coming here from you, you know, referrals, folks are going to come and bring others here, we are not going to be effective. And I think that's what we did really, really well before with our minor project. We educated our community. They became really, really, really well-versed, forwards, backwards, upside down. They just knew the product. They understood it. They were able to manage their investment correctly and then explain that to others and convey it in a way that really just made people feel comfortable and at home. And that's really important if you want success in these type of projects. Educated folks that, you know, are dressed to impress, and really with empathy. And that's another part of how we run business here. We didn't do any poaching or team promotions. There is no shameless shilling or just trying to beat out other teams. We understand that everyone that comes in here came from somewhere, and we want to respect that channel of, if you went to your neighbor's house for a barbecue and you told them about the project, but you didn't want to get into the details, you didn't want to put your foot in your mouth, maybe not explain it correctly, and you wanted some of the staff here to really hold their hand and walk them through it, which we're going to be here to do every single evening for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, and throughout the day through the chat as well. We want to make sure that you feel and know for a fact that no one in our community will try to DM them privately, take them away from you, or even more shamefully, publicly try to get them to sign up under them. So that's something really important. That's the way we did business before, and it was a very nice environment that people would come in here for the first time and say, "Hey, you guys are very kind. Everyone was very helpful, answered all my questions, and nothing but respect and real empathy." Because learning these systems does take a little bit of time, and we understand that. So let's go on to the next question. Anybody else want to ask something? Okay, how will the referrals work from Get Your Ace? Brett, you want to go ahead and expand on the referral system?
Sure. So there's both direct referrals and then also what we call a round robin referral system for rewards that are generated during compounds. So the direct referral rewards are paid out from deposits. So when someone you refer comes over and makes a deposit into the ARK vault, you would get 5% of that total deposit amount for the initial. And then if they make any additional deposits, you would also get that 5% on all deposits made for that investor going forward. So it's not just a one-time direct deposit referral reward. It's an ongoing, any additional SK suggestion to us, and I think it's kind of how drip used to work a little before I got into drip, but the reason for that is that what happens is most investors, maybe they're not too sure about a project, so they'll come in, they'll make a small investment, and then they'll kind of get familiar with the protocol and the community and everything, and then they'll make a much bigger deposit. And so some of the referrers would miss out on that second larger deposit. And so we wanted to make sure that you would be able to capture all of those rewards. And then the round robin is a little bit more difficult to explain just verbally. So I'd encourage you to go back through and look at the white paper. But basically, whenever somebody makes a compound, if they're in your direct the direct referral network down to 15 levels, you would have an opportunity to receive 5% of that compound paid in ARK rewards back to your principal balance in your ARK vault. But you would have to hold at least a certain number of referral reward levels through either by staking in the foundation or holding an NFT to qualify for those rewards. But the round robin referral system works basically where those compound rewards work their way up 15 levels and then reset and cut back down to the first level above you, and they're paid in an upline manner. And like I said, it's kind of difficult to explain. We have some visual diagrams and things in the white paper, but there's those two type of referral rewards, direct and then indirect through the round robin system.
Something else that Ace wanted to know, because he asked me and I totally forgot to ask, so sorry about that, Ace, was how are the private sale referrals in regards to syndicate leaders going to work? Because I'm sure that it's just going to be you receive your NFT, you put it in the ROI vault, and then you use your syndicate leaders wallet address as a referral. Is that correct, Brett or Atlas?
Yes, yeah, they'll have the opportunity when they purchase the pre-sale NFT to put in a referral address that will be connected to that NFT and that deposit that they make. So they will their reward would flow to that referral wallet upon launch.
Thank you.
Hi, team. This is Sailing. I wanted to ask a little bit about the public sales 1, 2, and 3, and if you've kind of thought through mechanics of that. And it was just interesting to see how several of the ones this year have done so different. Most people felt like Piston was way too fast and kind of a crapshoot and didn't go well. And then Furio put a limit on the max that people could buy in their pre-launch sales, and it seemed to give us a little more time to actually get in. Was curious on thoughts you had about that, and how far you've gone into thinking through that type stuff. Thank you.
Alex, do you want me to handle that one, or do you want to cover?
Yes, please. Yes, Brett, go right ahead. I'm also answering here a couple DMs. Appreciate it.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. We're more closely following the Furio format because we felt like it gave people an adequate amount of time. Each of our pre-sale rounds will be 1 week long unless they're sold out prior. So we will have fixed numbers of NFTs and fixed numbers of ARK available for each of the pre-sale rounds. And so they could sell out very quickly, but if they don't, we would have those pre-sales open for 1 week each. And so, yeah, we're staging it more so like Furio Day, where we're going to be doing AMA tours during that time, really pushing the promotional schedule during those 3 weeks of those pre-sale rounds. And then following also a tiered approach to the pricing so that as each round progresses, the price will increase of the ARK token that you'll be receiving. And so you'll basically receive less ARK tokens per NFT as the rounds increase.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We were impressed with the Furio pre-sale schedule and the way that they launched. So ours will be very much in line with what you've experienced with Furio.
Great question and great answer there too, Brett. Who would like to ask the next question? Is there anybody here with us? I see a couple of new faces here. Welcome to our ARK, guys. Thank you for being here with us this evening. Is there anybody else that might have a question? You can go ahead and write it. Excuse me, if you're not able to speak. Second here. Okay, you're welcome. Get your ace.
So obviously we buy in with USDC, or possible BUSD depending on the decision on the change, right? And then we follow the strategy and we get paid out in ARK token, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So
yeah, so either USDC on BSC or USDC on Crow.
Yeah. So let's just say for now that we're using Kronos Network and we're buying in with USDC and we're getting paid out in ARK. So for someone who is following the one-to-one, how does, like, I'm just going over this scenario in my head, and obviously it's better to ask you, Brett, because you'll better know the answer. But so if I'm getting paid out ARK every other day, technically, right? And for the first 71 days at least, I don't have a need to purchase more. This is just hypothetically. So if I'm selling my ARK token every other day, or I'm building it up for a week and I'm selling it, how does that affect the price on the market. Is that healthy for the market? Because I know that we obviously want buys and sells coming in, but how does that affect the token price?
Yeah, it will. And so this is a little counterintuitive, and I think a lot of other daily ROI dApps don't promote selling of the token, but it will smooth out and stabilize the price of the token. And along with we've mentioned the LMS, we're calling a liquidity controller. We will be able to stabilize the price, but obviously, in times, if we let everybody build up a bunch of tokens or they all compounded to the end of max payout, it's going to put a lot of stress on the liquidity pool that feeds that liquidity controller or the LMS to be able to pay out those people, because we have to pay them out when they exchange their ARK for USDC. And so we're very closely watching what's happening with Furio and their LMS. And we're obviously in discussions. We have been in discussions with Horde about their LMS as well, and very impressed with how things have worked so far, being a system that they introduced later into the Furio network or the ecosystem there. But it's one thing to be concerned about if you have a lot of wallets coming to max payout, which is why we encourage people to withdraw and sell along the way. Not only will you be able to provide yourself a more stable passive income, but it also helps and protects the system. And we've built in a lot of mechanisms around incentivizing that, and then also restricting the buildup of tokens in your wallet and the amount that you can sell at one particular time, so that we can make sure that we maintain that liquidity to be able to pay people out when the time comes at a much tighter price range than you may see with other projects that don't have a liquidity management service or an LMS.
Brilliant, mate. You just answered my next question there. So it is promoted that the same with the hyper compounding, that you don't hoard your ARK tokens, for a month, 2 weeks, however long. So you want to be claiming and selling along the way and not hoarding. So I just wanted to clarify that, mate. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great question, Brad. And look, the way Brett said it was I think fantastic. It's counterintuitive, as we've been taught or we've been asked to follow a certain formula for the better of the project. But when we really analyze it and looked into it, it actually was counterproductive to do it that way. And one of the things about passive income is really paying yourself. It's important to pay yourself. And we noticed that with the miner, a lot of folks just hyper compounded. It didn't take any profits. And generally those were the folks that, through looking through the blockchain and the contract and all the transactions, we saw a lot of folks that didn't get their return on initial investment just because they wanted to, grow and hyper compound their way to a bigger bag. And look, it's everybody's investments. It's their prerogative how they want to handle and really manage their investment. But we also believe that, you want to have a balance. You don't want, hyper claiming or hyper compounding. And through following that formula, if you really think about it, it kind of does a liquidity control right there, because you're not building up. You're constantly getting new investment in. You're constantly having investment from the ones in out. So when you calculate that and you see it, it's a well balanced system. And we all hate when we see a huge pump that happens on a chart, and then you get an elevator all the way down, or you get people jumping off the 150th floor down, and it's over and over. That's why we see a lot of interest into the LMS that fits into our narrative really from day one of going on that 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, you want to extend, you want to compound more. Okay, get an NFT. You want, to increase how many X's you can have into the system. Okay, contribute into the ecosystem by locking up more capital by getting an NFT. So, if you contribute, you can extend and you can go further. And, the best practices articles is really cool. I suggest we're going to go ahead and pin it here for you guys as well. But spend some time on there and spend some time here. We're going to be here, pretty much every evening to answer your questions as we get started and get closer to launch. So we'll go ahead. Is there any other questions? We'd love to hear from you guys.
I don't have a question. I kind of have a comment, and I'm, I guess, let's just say, like everybody else probably in here, first generation crypto. No one else in my family has anything to do with crypto or even really knows what it is. I could explain this to them 10 times over and they wouldn't get it. I mean, there's no simple about the DeFi when it comes to mixing the NFTs and everything with that. All they're going to do is get confused on my end if I try to explain it to them. So, you know, I'm probably not the salesperson that a lot of people are here, or even able to, you know, express things as well as most. But I was just thinking about trying to explain this to my sister and knowing that it would be a very frustrating conversation.
Well, look, that's a great thing of how we work, because we're, like I said, we're here, and that's why we did so well in our first phase one, because we educated and answer all the questions for everyone. So people could just say, hey, you know, come check this out. You know, I'm in this investment and it's going well for me. It's just started. You know, it's not financial advice. We don't use the word promises. We don't make promises to people. We don't guarantee. You know, this is crypto. It is high risk, high reward. Now that we're trying to make it as stable and, you know, get rid of volatility and have a system that people can enjoy and invest in and feel comfortable, sleep well at night, and be proud to bring in their friends and family, coworkers and neighbors, and just people that they want to see them grow, right? They don't want to leave folks behind, especially in these times of such, you know, global financial uncertainty, and people are looking for a way to just supplement income. They're looking for a way to kind of have some extra stability that's outside of the regular world, and, you know, what's outside of, you know, the regular banking system. So we all understand the reasons for the interest in being here, but if you don't have a team that can really articulate, you know, in an empathetic way and answer questions and you know, handhold. A lot of this is handholding, especially the first, you know, week, 2 weeks when someone comes new into this. You know, there's a lot of questions about Ponzonomics and hey, do I have to go out and recruit? You know, like I have to, you know, do that in order to get my percent. You know, there's just so many questions, and we're here. We're prepared to answer them. We've gotten really, really good at that. Now we have a much more robust, sophisticated, and sustainable system than our phase one. We're very excited about that, but we have to bring our game up, and that's why it's so important to be here, listening and recording this and answering the questions. And thank you, Brett, for all the hard work you've done and for being here, making yourself available, as you will continue to do so, for all those investors. And before you know it, like we did with our phase one, you know, the little investor that came in here, spent a week or two, you know, we saw that guy, you know, answering questions on the chat and helping other people out. And that's what you see in great communities. You know, someone is a student, someone's a small investor, and they come in, and before, you know, time happens, they're out there, you know, really setting the tone and you know, paying back the time that the other community and, you know, members took to bring him up to speed and to get him, you know, to a point of comfort that he can really, first of all, manage his own personal investment. And I think with a lot of the work that's been done on the contract side as well, you know, us as you know, the team for the project, you know, personally, I feel a lot more secure. There was things in the phase one and the minor that I didn't think were fair, that I didn't think were really protecting everybody. We learned a lot from that. And that's why I think the system's been very stringent and strict. It's, you know, in a sense, rewarding you for following a system that we've calculated to be successful, and giving you some opportunity to extend and, you know, not hold you completely in a box, but at the same time, making sure that no evil, you know, intent from others that just want to come and destroy our project, who want to come and take advantage of the good investors, from the good folks here, from our friends, from our families that are invested. We want to make sure that those folks do not have the opportunity to you know, foul play and, you know, drain our liquidity. So I'm extremely satisfied and happy with the parameters that, you know, are implemented. And I think that we are all going to be able to sit back and have some comfort and do what we do best, which is here to grow the project. Marketing, we believe, it's not your typical, you know, PooCoin ads or shill messages and raids. I think that's kind of personally cheesy, and that's not the way to go. This is something that you really need to sit down with an investor and explain to them the mechanics and how this works and why it works, and also the risk. You know, anyone that tells you that hey, this is a guaranteed thing. We said we don't use those word trust and promises are not made here. Education and explaining that you never should risk more than you can afford to lose. You know, especially you know, when you're an investor and bringing other people's in, you also need to understand that there's a responsibility that has to be set forward to anyone. And you'll see that here too, that we want to make sure that people don't go and get a mortgage on their home in order to be participating and growing here with us. And hopefully not just grow, but thrive in the whole ecosystem. Is there any other questions?
One more quick question. I don't know if I
Yes.
missed it, but was there any like external that will hold any plans for external income? You know, we talk about, you know, like Fury or with your Fury. Anything like that for ARK?
Yes, we actually have a couple things planned to add a couple of revenue streams to not just rely on new investors coming and bringing capital into the whole protocol and all the systems. And one's going to be a real world, working with a real world hedge fund that's doing arbitrage trading between banks of bonds. And those are cycles. Those are generally, think of crowdfunding by very big financial institutions for accredited investors, where they're raising, you know, $1.5, $2.5, $3 billion per transactions. And we have access to that. That's not something that most little guys can really get into, or even small company or of accredited investors. But we do have the access to that, and we're going to take some exposure to that. We're going to be very clear and show you who we're working with and how we're doing it. You know, and try to find a way to do it where not everybody else can come and copy us. So that's going to be an art form in itself. So that's one of them. We also, inside, according to how our liquidity controller is created and how we put it together, that might be another revenue to work with other projects and enable that for them as well. And there's some cross-chain platform that we want to go ahead and launch ARK on other systems, other chains. One in particular that I'm not going to release the info as it is a new project, and we're doing some consulting for them, and they're growing about 3,000 new members a day. So there's several great opportunities that we've identified that are important. We are not wanting to lean towards the lottery sort of system. I know that's kind of hot. A lot of people, you know, are into that. Initially, we did have an idea of doing a percentage of TVL and so forth. But at this point, we decided to go a more corporate route. You know, I come from a banking background and business development background, and I try to keep it, you know, very professional and not go too much to the sort of, you know, gambling and speculative sides of things. So we want to be very conservative. We want to be safe, understanding that we also want to take risk. And there is a particular project that I think most of us know that we are working behind the scenes that we've identified as a very safe play. We want to bring some liquidity into that project, and we want to branch out and make these partnerships with other projects. We believe that, you know, it's good to work with others, not, you know, be a lone wolf, as they say. So I hope that answers your question, sir. Great question, by the way.
As you know, I missed it. What project you said you guys released it? What project is it?
No, we're not releasing that information.
You haven't released it. Oh, okay.
We're
okay.
in private talks. We're in private talks, but I'm pretty sure
Okay.
a lot of you guys know who they are. I'll be like, okay, that's a good place, because you want to diversify and you want to be able to take some of that liquidity. I mean, a lot of it obviously is going to go to support the liquidity controller, right, to keep our price stability. But we also want to branch out, and we have identified these different revenue streams that we're going to diversify those investments and bring that back to the project, but a lot of it to the NFT holders, which is a big part. I don't know if Brett, you want to talk a little bit about that?
I had a quick question though before you guys get into that. Did you guys just say you had somebody already managing the liquidity, or you are still in talks to that?
We're working on that.
Okay.
Working on that here internally, and we have till, you know, really, you know, December 2nd. a month from tomorrow. So,
If,
like I
it
said,
might be what I'm thinking and what I'm talking about. So I'll just DM me later or something. I think we might have talked about it a couple months ago. So
sure, man. Sure.
it's
Of
a
course,
lot on
man.
my mind. I was prepared for a totally different AMA tonight. So I had my questions out for a totally different AMA. So I have no questions for you, but I'm sure I'll have plenty next time.
Thanks. We'll be here open to you. And look, we appreciate you coming and asking and participating. It's wonderful when folks want to engage. There's folks that are shy. They don't want to talk or they're not able to speak. And when someone steps up and even if they ask 3, 4, 5 questions, a lot of the times I found that those are questions that others are thinking. And, just by being here, participating, listening is also fantastic. So kudos and thank you guys that are out here making the questions for us. As I know you're helping out the folks that are in here listening, as well as those that are going to be coming later on in the next couple of days and listening to these recordings. Is there any other question? Or Brett, did you want to add anything to the additional revenue streams that we have here in hand and working on? Back to those NFT holders.
I think you pretty well covered. I think just the only thing to mention is that the NFT, the legacy NFT, not the pre-sale NFT, but the legacy NFT is really our ownership protocol. So we understand that, when people make that investment, it's a locked investment. So when they buy the NFT, that money is going to the treasury. So we're going to try to be as transparent as possible about what we're using those treasury reserves for. One component is the external investment. And as the external investments become profitable, those revenue streams would flow back into that legacy NFT rewards pool and then get paid out to the NFT rewards holder based on their percent ownership in the pool. So that's how we're going to be rewarding those NFT holders. So not only will they get the utility of the NFT and how it operates and enhances their investment in the ARK Vault, but also it will be a growing rewards pool that we hope to also extend into other products. And as the ecosystem grows, that NFT will continue to have additional utility and other revenue streams from fees, taxes, whatever it might be. As the ecosystem grows and new products are added, we will always keep a component of those revenue streams or new utilities for those NFT holders. So if you are looking to make a long-term investment into ArkFi and believe in what we're doing, the team, and be part of that future opportunity, then you'll want to participate in the legacy NFT as soon as possible. And there is a fixed amount of those. And so we want that group to be selective and be our founding members, if you want to call it that invest with us and sort of crowdfund our future and our success.
And am I right thinking that the legacy NFT also gives you the 15 downlines?
If you purchase the platinum NFT, then yes, it would give you the 15 levels immediately. But you can start with, let's say, a silver NFT and then upgrade it as you go. So as your ARK Vault account grows and you have profits available from your ARK Vault account, you could then reinvest that back into upgrading your level, the level of your legacy NFT. And there's 3 levels. There's a silver, a gold, and a platinum, and each has a different value. But you can trade in a lower value NFT to upgrade it to the higher level. So as your ARK Vault grows and as you're able to take profits, if you can siphon some of those profits away to reinvest back into the legacy NFT, you can upgrade those as you go to get a higher level NFT. So once you reach your max payout, you can then transfer that legacy NFT to another wallet that you restart back into the ARK Vault and get the same benefits from that legacy NFT over and over again as you start new wallets.
Thank you. And does the silver NFT give you access to the external revenue streams, or is it only the platinum?
No, all levels do. With the silver, you just own less of the rewards pool. So your payout from the rewards pool would be lower, but you would still get the same access to the rewards pool as the other two levels, as the gold or the platinum. You would just get paid less, basically.
Awesome. Thank you, Brett.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and also with the NFTs, Brad, to add to just the financial rewards part through the NFTs, but we will also have a voting opportunity according to which NFT you hold. And those are also divided into percentages. You know, if you're investing more money into the protocol through the NFT, then obviously your representation according to your financial value of what you've invested should also equate to, you know, the power of your vote, as well as the percentage that you'd be receiving from the whole system. So this goes down to the tax level of pretty much every transaction and everything that's going on. Is there any other questions?
Not a question, but those NFTs are going to be extremely valuable if well, I was going to say if I understand it correctly, but I do, and yeah, they're going to be hot tickets. So I suggest everybody gets one before they're gone.
Well, and we're going to have a pre-sale of those as well before launch, and give people a you know, great opportunity to jump into those and maybe do some contests and some promotions for folks that want to get a head start and have them already. You're going to need them, right, you know, from the beginning in order to be able to get your direct, you know, referrals, you know, from your first, you know, direct, at least having the first level of the NFT, so you're able to cash in. If not, it's just going to keep going up, right? So that's important. And as we move further and get closer to our launch, look, we're going to have these fantastic conversations. We're going to go into so many details. That's why we appreciate these questions, because it gives us a great opportunity to touch on that. So, you know, we believe the supply is fair. We're going to go ahead and, you know, be touching on that, expanding more on it, giving folks a chance to get in before launch into the NFTs. But it's not to a point that only a lucky few are going to be able to have the full advantage. It's important that 6 months down the line, a year down the line, especially with the lower NFTs, not everybody is, you know, having such a huge, you know, team that they can onboard, right? We know there's a few key folks that have that potential if they're really into a project. Now, the little guys, you know, say 6, 7 months down the line, somebody sitting in Indonesia and hears about this project and what the returns they could have here, and how it's grown, and how it's even reached to their, and how they could, and even still have a lot of money to be able to come in. And as they're growing into projects, save up to be able to get that first level of NFT and then go to the second level and so forth. And that they're not locked out of the game. That's very important, because if you can't get somebody in here 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, then what's the point of doing this? So there's going to be, you know, ample supply that we can ensure the longevity, so that folks will be able to play the game. Like I said, especially in the first level, you want, you know, easy access, especially for the little guy. A lot of little guys is you know, really important. You know, can't just be about the whales. It's a whole balance of things. And that's one of the things that we, you know, identify too, that if you make it so restrictive, then how do you keep it going? So I think that we did a really good job with that, and we look forward to have some of your feedback as we, you know, continue to disseminate and provide this information for all of you. Who's question? Or maybe somebody has a comment regarding NFTs and what we're talking about here.
They're going to cost a lot of money.
They do have a cost that's going up according to the range. Brett, you want to go a little bit into the cost? And part of the strategy is, you know, saving up as you progress. If you want to get into, if you want to grow a team, or maybe if you want to take advantage of being able to compound and extend your investment as well. Brett, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So the lowest level NFT is the silver NFT, and that one is $1,000, which we understand is, you know, significant investment if you're not taking full advantage of the utility of that. But we think that that's a fair range based on the ROI potential for the referral rewards that are then paid back. As I mentioned, that, you know, every deposit, or there's no idle money in the system. So anytime you make a deposit or a purchase, you're going to get a return on investment. So the NFT can not only just be thought of as a referral reward, you know, access to the referral rewards, but also as an individual investment. And it's an investment into the ecosystem. As Atlas mentioned, it's also the kind of the ownership protocol where you're going to get DAO votes, and there's some other advantages as well. So that is for, I would say, a more serious investor that believes in the long-term opportunity with the team and the ecosystem and what we're trying to do, but also be able to participate and have a voice in where we go, the projects we invest in, and have a little bit higher level of control versus someone that's just, you know, coming in and not participating that way. The other way to be able to still get access to those referral rewards is through the foundation and making a bond stake. But that one is, I would consider it more of a stepping stone. It is a liquid investment. So unlike the NFT, you can pull that bond stake in and out. It's completely liquid. There's no lock period or anything like that. You will get a return on investment there as well. There is a rewards pool based on the deposit and withdrawal tax funds the pool. And there's a breakdown of that in the white paper that kind of shows how those rewards get paid out. But that's a way to participate in the liquidity, help us with the liquidity controller, be able to help us establish a price floor. So there's some benefits to the ecosystem, just investing in that foundation contract. But that one to me is more like a savings account. You can put your USDC in there, you can put ARK in there, and then as that builds up, then take those profits and take that liquidity out and purchase an NFT to take things to the next level. So it really depends on your comfort level with the project, the team, how vested do you want to become, and really kind of, you know, step your way into those investments, put your toe in the water, and then take a little bit more and grow as your ARK Vault investment grows, invest back into the system by way of the foundation or the legacy NFT.
Thanks, Brett. Fantastic explanation there. We see we got Mr. Chris Dugan in the house. Thank you for joining us, Chris. Chris has also been a great advisor and help here to the team for many months, and also involved in a fantastic project, guys, called Bridge DeFi. If you don't know him, fantastic person to know. Known each other for a while, and great project also that we consider a part of the ARK family. So support. Thank you for being here.
Hey, appreciate that.
I know you've been busy in days. Go ahead.
I said I'm just glad we can finally talk about this.
Yeah, you've been here, man, helping us for such a long time. A fantastic person. I think a lot of you guys know him, and if you don't, definitely somebody you want to know in the space, doing fantastic things, and a great project that is a sister project here to ARK. And check it out. You can see here bridgedefi.com or hit him on DMs. Chris, do you have any questions, man? I know you've been busy working on your thing, but yeah, we've put out the white paper. I saw your great comments about it, but maybe you had some questions or fine details on it. We'd love to hear from you, man.
Oh, I think they did a great job on that. It explains it really well. I don't have any questions.
Great, Chris. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate that comment from the other day that you had looked over it, because you were a great part in advising and really being a great sounding board to go over some of these ideas and how to implement. And it's not just Brett or myself here, guys. There's quite a big team you're going to be seeing in our website as soon as we go ahead and release and open it up. You're going to see there's quite a good amount of advisors and persons on the team that have been essential. We can't take all the credit. I don't think we ever will, but it's quite a fantastic team that we're very fortunate to be able to put together. It took some time to find them, but it's the kind of people that once you've identified their potential and their commitment to working and seeing the results, it's quite humbling to be quite honest with you guys. I'm very grateful of the folks that have just showed up exactly at the right time to help us and bring so much to the table. Spring is Dead, glad to have you here, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Is there anybody that would have a question for the team here? We'd love to hear from you. Let's see, we got Jay Silva. Hey, buddy, how you doing? And Roy is here. Hope you're doing well, Mr. Roy. Do you have a question? I think we've known each other just through the actual DMs, but we have not spoken yet. But glad to have you here, sir. All right, so I guess we don't have any more questions. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I want to see if maybe some of our team members here will come and maybe add a little bit, introduce themselves, and they've been here some time with us. So introduce themselves and let you get to know them a little bit, and they can tell you a little bit about us if you're new here and what we've been doing. Mr. Fortunate, are you in a position to come and say hello to a lot of the folks here that know you and the ones that are new and that don't? I know you've got a family with children. Sometimes, yeah, hear the kids in the back. You want to come out and say hi, man, to the people that know you and those that don't. Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm fortunate enough. For those of you who do know me, I've been here for quite some time. Been a little bit of an enthusiast with the whole crypto project. I am the community manager. So the majority of questions will be directed towards me. And in most cases, when someone is looking for an answer, they can't find one, they'll come to me. That way I can go to, somebody else like Atlas, or maybe if I need to go to Brett Norden or something like that, to get everybody situated on what they need to know about the project. I'm highly anticipating this launch coming up. We've been waiting on it for quite some time now. A lot of people are also anticipating it, and you can hear my wife and kids in the background. They're thrilled about it as well. We have so much potential for what we have coming up here.
Thank you so much, Fortunate. Sorry to put you on the spot last minute. We didn't know how long the questions might go, so I appreciate you being able to step up. And let's see, we also have Mr. Bradass. You want to go ahead and say hello to the new folks and the folks that already know you? Tell them a little bit how you came into the project and also went from an investor, very passionate about coming and investing here with us, to really standing out and showing the leadership, going out there and recruiting and learning, going from an average Joe to a savage Joe. Go right ahead, Brad.
Thanks, Atlas. Appreciate that. Yes, hi everyone. My name's Brad. I've got a bit of a different story in this space, due to the fact that I was completely new to crypto when I joined up. I'd never invested in crypto before, didn't really know too much. And just touching on something that Crypto Brother said earlier about not being able to explain this, to his family and to people that are generation one into crypto. Talking about it and reading the white paper is very different to actually seeing it and doing it. And once it's all released and everybody is educated, it will be far easier to understand and to tell other people about. But so I started out and didn't know anything about crypto. Came into the TG, asked Fortunate like so many questions you wouldn't believe. That poor guy's ears were pounded for days and weeks, where I was just learning. And he's fantastic, always there 24 hours a day. We're in different time zones as well. DM'd Atlas like you wouldn't believe, and some other team members as well. And I went from being just a regular investor to being an admin, and then to being a syndicate founder. So the team is just the best team that's out there. Some of the best advisors, managers, marketers, all of that. And this is for everyone. I can't stress the amount of times that Atlas has said to me, you got to look after the little guy. And, you know, that's what it's all about. It's not about the whales and people with YouTube channels. It's not just about them, I should say. And yeah, you know, I went from being a no one in this space to becoming really educated. And, you know, now I understand how to read a white paper and all the rest of it. So, yeah, great to be here. You know, always on hands to help Fortunate out because he's going to be a busy man, and SG and Brett and Atlas and everybody else. So any questions, you can just write them in the chat, hit me up, hit one of the other guys up, and the whole team is here to help and educate and grow because we are just one big family.
Let's get this crypto. Thank you, Brad. And Brad's going to be working here officially. He's going to be pretty much handling the duties of the folks that want to go out there and they want to be able to speak to other people, and maybe they don't have the skills. Maybe they're not confident, or, you know, they never sold anything, but they really want to go that route. Brad is a certified personal trainer. He's a guy that can take someone that, you know, probably doesn't have a lot of motivation and wants to sit on the couch and just eat potato and order pizzas all day and say, hey, come on, let's get off the couch. Let's get in shape. Let's make a schedule. Let's get you on a balanced diet and fix your nutrition, your vitamins, and really change your life around. And, you know, I think his past experiences in the whole sales side of business has definitely contributed to his ability. But I think a lot of it comes from his innate humbleness and really, you know, being a person that's empathetic and wanting to help. So combining the sales, combining the good heart, he's a gentleman that also runs a dog rescue in Thailand that, you know, he built a house there. He's got these dogs. Like, these are wonderful people. And Brad's one of my favorite people in the project. And I know that he's somebody that could really lead by example and take the time to handhold and get folks to a level that if they do want to take that route, they're going to be able to tap into him and his whole team. A lot of the materials that we're going to create here for investors, that they could just send a really interesting video to a friend, a potential investor, and then just bring him over here. And, you know, step by step. So thank you for the introduction, Brad. As you're well loved and appreciated. Fortunate as well, great introduction. Guy that gives us 18-hour days without ever complaining. Saturdays, Sundays, Mother's Days, any national holiday. You know, these guys are here. They're working with us on a full-time basis. And S23, do you want to come and say hello? I know a lot of folks here, know about you, and some folks don't. Say hello.
Hey guys, I've been with these guys for some time now, and I really I really love this team actually, and the hard work they're putting in, and I try to help from in whatever I can help. I've been an admin, I've been an advisor in other projects too. I've been a tester of projects, whatever. And right now, I'm building, I've built and still building my own team on this one. And, you know, I think like for me personally, of all the things happening in crypto right now, I think this is by far one of the best, one of the top new projects in crypto. And I'm very happy to be here with all the great guys, Brad, Fortunate, Atlas, Brett, everyone. I just love it. And can't wait for it to launch.
Thank you so much, S23, man. Always a respected person. He's been around. He's helped a lot of different devs, and look, a lot of the folks the past couple of months have taken some hits financially in this space. I think we've all, you know, suffered a bit, and the morale might be a little bit low, but I think that in life you have to keep going. You just have to be careful and more responsible. And I think that a lot of the projects are adapting, trying to stay away from that volatility. And I think it comes down to the team, the morals, the ethics, you know, how hard people are willing to work, how much you're willing to sacrifice. It's never going to come easy. But, you know, when you're surrounded by folks that really have the best intentions and are willing to put the work in, have the skills, because sometimes folks have the best intentions, but they can't capitalize. You know, a lot of people have fantastic ideas. They can't see them through. They don't have the resources. They don't have the folks around them that can be a part of that, or you know, really the experience that's necessary. So a lot of it is being surrounded by that team, and when you have that, you can able to come in and implement it. I think that's where the real magic happens. And you know, that's something that we suffered with in the beginning. We had great ideas, we had great intentions, but we didn't have the coders that were able to really focus and follow through and deliver on the product. And we went through 2 sets of coders till we find the coders that we have now that have been a dream come true. Really fantastic. So thank you guys for all being here this evening. Thank you for the staff here at ARK for participating. They're doing the recording and introducing yourselves. And just before we close, we'll leave it open one more time. If there's anybody that might have a question or a comment, this will be the perfect time to do it before we go ahead and close the recording, and then we'll hang out here for a little bit. Is there anybody else? All right, S23, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and close off the recording, and we'll go ahead and pin it here. We'll hang out for a little bit.